Is the F2P or free-to-play diamond grind sustainable in Love and Deepspace? Let's chat about it. This is indeed one very infernal or very fiery topic to discuss. I will have to say that. Welcome back, my fellow flowers of Linkon, to another juicy episode of Love and Deep Discussion where we dive in and discuss about all things Love and Deepspace. Now, in this particular video, I would like to talk about another Reddit post which I came across a few days ago. And as usual, huge shout out and thanks go to all the wonderful Reddit users that post their thoughts and opinions for all of us to discuss, engage with, and deeply ponder and reflect upon. So this post was made around 12 days ago and I just want to jump straight into it. Now, the different types of responses, as usual, I will also post comments that stood out to me, and there are essentially opposing sides that think that the diamond grind is not really sustainable for free to play, and there is another side that is saying that yes, it can be depending on what reasons you are actually playing the game for or what essentially is your playstyle. Let's dive right in, shall we? Alright, so I will read this post into 3 separate parts because it's slightly long. So the post reads, is the F2P diamond / pull economy in Love and Deepspace sustainable? Hi everyone, I started playing Love and Deepspace a little over 2 weeks ago. I've had a lot of free time, so I'm already at level 56 and have blasted through most of the story, achievements and one-time rewards. The story, the visuals and the lore for each love interests are amazing. I'm hitting a massive wall when I look at the long-term economy. I tried to calculate the max monthly diamond income for a free-to-play player. Please correct me if I'm wrong. Estimated max F2P monthly diamonds 2100, senior hunter contest or SHC 36-star reward 1.2k diamonds, but let's be so real, that takes serious dedication and resources. Total max monthly with 36-star senior hunter contest would be 3300 diamonds. The post goes on to say, I read somewhere that the guaranteed pity for a specific banner 5-star is around 140 pulls, that's 150 pulls for a myth card. This means you need to save for around 10 months to guarantee one banner card if you skip the hard to get senior hunter contest diamonds. So 140 pulls multiplied by 150 diamonds is 21,000 diamonds or 2.1k monthly diamonds into 10 months. That's almost a full year of skipping every single new banner, not spending a single diamond and purely saving up. If the 5-star cards were just cute collector items, 10 months of saving wouldn't be an issue. But there's a point in deep space trials and battles where 3-star cards are just not enough. Investing heavily into 4-star cards isn't really sustainable either. There comes a moment where you need those 5-star cards to truly progress further. Protocore hunt is also brutal. 20 stamina per run, and the amount of crystals that are needed to ascend a card is massive given our small stamina cap. This makes the game feel incredibly hostile to low spend or F2P players. I've played other gacha games and I didn't experience this level of required long-term saving for just basic progress. I understand it's a gacha, but the current treatment for F2P players feels unbalanced. Since F2P / low spend is typically the majority, shouldn't Infold focus on making the game sustainable for them too? And finally, the last part of the person's post reads, this leads to my next biggest questions about the game. If F2P players are the majority and there are frequent complaints, wouldn't that negatively affect Love and Deepspace's overall image amongst paying users too? A healthy, thriving community often attracts and keeps whales. Then, is the current F2P treatment simply Infold's way to filter out F2P players over time, intentionally designing the game to only keep people who pay? Okay, now that my rant is over, time for more questions. Is the pity accurate? Is it truly 140 pulls for a card, or is the information I read somewhere false? What are the actual pity / guarantee numbers? F2P veterans, how do you manage the long waiting and saving up without getting completely bored or burnt out in the game? Experienced players, what is your top tip or advice for new F2P players who are feeling this early resource crunch? Thanks for reading my long rant. Looking forward to other people's opinions. Now time to read some comments that stood out to me. First one, the total monthly diamond income is 4090 or 4090. Dailies, weeklies, etc. should give you 2,410 diamonds. Senior Hunter Contest, if you manage to clear 33 stars out of 36, will give you 1,680. You also get 20 diamonds each for every round that you clear additionally. Other than that, there's the Abyssal Chaos / Unicorns operations, which is every 6 months, which gives approximately 6k diamonds. Free diamonds from Infold bracket, I've been tracking this, is approximately 1.2 to 1.4k for normal months, with new version / anniversary being higher around 4 to 5k, which averages to around 2k a month. I haven't really counted the diamonds you get from early game achievements, but they amount to a fair bit too. Official pity is 140 / 150 for non-myth / myth. Actual is usually less, as we tend to get free pulls for multis and myths around 120 to 130 including pull rewards. We also get free pulls for birthday cards, I might add. I'd estimate that free to play can pull on 3 to 4 banners per year guaranteed. Now, not gonna lie, that's not a lot, and I also completely agree with you on how low the in-game leveling resources are for F2P, which is my biggest source of frustration. I'm comparing this to other games like Hoyo and Arknights, where after 1 year you're typically swimming in resources. Another comment reads, I don't know or I don't think it's true that F2P are the most. Maybe on the global side, but in CN, which is the biggest server, a lot are paying players. Being harem is also more common in global than CN, where most players there only pull for one love interest. That's actually very intriguing. I did not really realize that, but wow, okay. CN whales have been outraged before in bracket Catch 22 Hair and the KOD or King of Dark Knight release, for example, but it has never been related to grinding/farming for free to play. They pay, so they don't really care about that. I think this is also why the only people asking for a sixth love interest is the global side. CN does not want a sixth love interest, but global wants one because it gives time to save and also more free ways or more ways to farm. Now, this next comment is super intriguing because it is from a person who is a game developer themselves. So they said, I don't think F2P actually is the majority of the player base. I think most people invest in the Aurum past at the least, and Infold is kind of banking on that. To your points, I don't think Infold is all that interested in the F2P economy, more so the mid to whale spenders. Peeps who buy packs 1 to 4 to 5 for banners and have the Aurum pass, for example. That sort of spending is about what you need to maintain around 15,000 diamonds and get every single card for every single banner. So your typical harem girly. It sucks, but it makes sense. They are a business after all. As a developer, I think what they're looking for is the same sort of coverage that they would get if the game was premium, in bracket i.e. $90 investment with an additional $10 to $20 per banner. If you spread out your player base of true F2P and whales, that would probably sit with the return on investment they need to produce more content and pay their taxes/bills. Of course, real spending is all over the place, but that would be the desired average when you consider team size, software, and localization costs. They go on to say, as with any developer that does not need a community to sustain it, think FPS games or MMOs where you can't play the game without people, there really isn't a reason to incentivize or care about completely F2P players, and I think you can easily see that in Infold's strategy for monetization. So I don't think your feelings on that are wrong. I am a game dev, and I will say a person who is not paying for your product at all is not a priority when they do not affect the overall engagement with the game. Wow, that sentence is highly debatable, I see. It's rough, but it's the truth. I've worked on live service titles where we just completely even ignored tickets from F2P players because the idea was that it costs $200 hours of dev time for their issue and there is zero return on investment for the company to help them. I wish it wasn't that way. Wow, that is depressing when you think about it. Another comment says, thank you for posting and talking about this. Fellow F2P player here, and I don't see honest discussions on the F2P experience in this subreddit often. No, I do not think the diamond/pull economy is sustainable for F2Ps. It does feel hostile towards F2Ps and low spenders. I started playing Love and Deepspace this summer, and after discovering Duchess Arya's posts on it being totally possible to pull for limited mids to complete Senior Hunter contest as an F2P, I made that my goal so I can have a source of diamond income. Due to lots of grinding and skipping all limited lunar banners, I was able to get Raphael's Lemurian Sea God, Xavier's King of Dark Knight, and Zane's God of Annihilation. I currently have 45,000 diamonds, enough to even guarantee Silas's and Caleb's new myths. Very impressive. I've exhausted the one-time rewards in both Abyssal Chaos and Unicorn's operations. I'm currently stuck on Orbit Trials and can only average about 10 to 18 stars in Senior Hunter contest. This player went on to say, once I've gotten all this round of new myths for the boys, I don't think I'll be doing that again. I'm feeling burnt out. I have to skip all lunar banners, and with how the main story is neglected, it is boring. This is an Otome game and I'm only focusing on battling because I feel I would struggle even more if I did otherwise. I do believe Infold wants to filter out F2P players. I've read about several other players' experience essentially being, I tried being F2P but it was difficult, so now I'm paying for the Aurum pass. That's not okay. Like you, I've also played other gacha and I agree with Love and Deepspace feeling unbalanced. The difference between an F2P player and an Aurum pass haver is a lot. Infold should absolutely make the game sustainable for free-to-plays too. I hope they do because I love the game, but it is very rough. And to this particular comment, the OP or the original poster actually responded back to them saying, yes, thank you. Your comment about the Aurum Pass really hits home. I firmly believe paying should be purely optional. If someone wants faster progress, a complete card collection, or exclusive outfits, absolutely put those behind a paywall. But don't force players to pay just to get a basic, decent gameplay experience that should be available to everyone. Another comment says, definitely not sustainable, but that also depends on what you want out of the game. Haha. I'm an F2P day 177th player, and you can check my previous posts on my progress. But this is how I guesstimate my diamonds. There are some seasons where you will only get 10% bonus or 40%, which will greatly help you in the Senior Hunter contest. Also keep in mind that this doesn't include orbits, which you will definitely be stuck on for months as a free-to-play player. 20 diamonds you clear from Senior Hunter contest, and the event diamonds they give out sometimes. I like 3 of the guys, so I'm skipping the majority of banners unless it's their myths. In my opinion, Love and Deepspace's biggest base are lower spending players or low spenders. I mean, their Aurum Pass is the most popular and efficient for a reason. The resources are scarce, just to entice F2P to become spenders. But honestly, as an F2P, you just have to drill the mentality that the only thing pulling on a banner will help you with is combat. You can view the full memoria on YouTube. Brackets, surprised they haven't been copyright striked yet. That's how I convinced myself to stop the FOMO and to stop being stingy. I'm feeling kind of burnt out if I'm being completely honest. I went 4.5 months without using any of my diamonds at the start. I also think you have to know what entices you in the game. For me, it's the main story, and it upsets me that it's barely even been updated. I have been strict on only pulling for myths of my favorites and any spicy banners. If you want maximum efficiency, then pull only for the solar myth pairs and follow Duchess's guides. And so this particular player, they posted their own calculations basing that they earn 2,390 diamonds a month. They average 21 stars in the Senior Hunter contest. So based on what is their average that they are able to get from farming Senior Hunter contest, including what all amounts of diamonds that they're able to get through doing their dailies, their monthlies, and of course luck is a biggest factor. Sometimes, honestly, the amount of diamonds that you have, sometimes you've seen those jokes, right, quite often online circulating, that I have 2,000 diamonds in a dream, I have 3,000 diamonds in a dream, I have 4k diamonds in a dream, or I have just 1.5k diamonds in a dream. And sometimes a player will do like a single pull or like a single 10 pull, even though they're like guaranteed 5-star is like they're 68 pulls away from a guaranteed 5-star. Maybe a single pull or a single 10 pull will give them that 5-star. It's rare, but it does happen to quite a lot of players. So luck is a huge factor in gacha games. Another commenter said, I'm not a free-to-play player, but I have 3 alternate accounts that are F2P. My main account is a low-spending account. I have one account for Caleb, and without going into too much farming or anything like that, I have got all the cards for him that are obtainable without money. I got stupid lucky this banner, 11 pulls, so I didn't even need to spend diamonds. But even without getting lucky, I did have enough to guarantee the card. I also have one level 1 card alt account that collects myths. I'm pretty screwed with that one, but so far I have managed to get all the myths that have come during its time. The King of Dark Knight, God of Annihilation, Abyssum Sovereign. I think both King of Dark Knight and God of Annihilation might have come without even needing to go all the way to 150 pulls, but I'm not entirely sure. Overall, just some things that I would recommend. Be extremely consistent with the game. Log in daily, do dailies and your weeklies. This is one of the main incomes in the game. Have a pull strategy. Are you a myth collector? Only then pull for myths and nothing else. Do you pull only for one guy? Then only pull for that guy and don't go for pull rewards or rank ups. Learn to cope with the FOMO. Do a limited amount of teams and don't spread your resources too wide. Pick 1 to 2 or maximum 3 guys to use in a battle and focus all stamina on them. One love interest solo is doable, and personally I prefer one love interest over having more. But this is much more difficult with Caleb and Silas due to the lack of cards that they have. They have the least amount of cards and overall least amount of Stalactrum coverage because of that. Focus your team building to Senior Hunter contest and not the orbit trials. Protocors are essential. Another player chimed in and said, I was honestly able to get every Raphael card from July 2024 to March 2025 fully free to play, and I only really had to open my wallet because I wanted to pull for Caleb too. Soloing will definitely get you there depending on your favorite love interest schedule, and in my experience, I tend to get a 5-star event card in 110 pulls. That is if I lost the 50-50. It's not often I have to get down to hard pity more than once in a banner. But the official number is 140 anyway, so do with that what you will. But also, yes, obviously, it's meant to kind of force you into paying out of FOMO or the fear of missing out. That's why they put myth banners so close to multi banners. They did that with Raphael too, not going to lie. It was multi, birthday, then myth all back to back. That was a tough time. Another commenter says, number 1, it depends on your luck. But based on my personal experience with Love and Deepspace, I barely needed to go to the full 140 pulls for a Lunar Solar Limited card. Usually 20 to 30 pulls is enough per card for me, but definitely it depends on your pity number. I only need 10 pulls if my number is low. But my luck for limited solar myths is a lot worse. I do need to go to the full 150 pulls to get the myth pair, that is to get 2 cards. But it still sounds nicer than 140 pulls for 1 card. For mixed pulls on average, I need 70 to 90 pulls because I always get the love interest who's not my main first, and then I will get my main for the precise wish. Number 2. Yes, I am a free-to-play player since August 2024. I only pulled for Silas from August 2024 to January 2025 except for the cat banner because I don't like the theme, and only pulled for Caleb. In brackets, Silas' birthday card is the exception from Jan 2025 to the present. I just saved up without getting bored because I love battles and those other diamond grinding features. Number 3, never use your diamonds to pull for the permanent wish pool, or that's the standard X-Space Echo banner. Only use the blue Empyrean wish tickets instead, as they are not difficult to get if you're playing long term. I found it pretty easy to get diamonds as a free-to-play player honestly, which could be an outlier in this community. You can get a lot from daily logging in or daily logins, leveling up cards, ranking up cards, clearing up battles, senior hunter contest, abyssal chaos, unicorn operations, the claw machines, kitty cards, etc, etc. It's very easy to manage if you only really like one character and you're just story oriented, which means you just want to get access to the story without ranking up the cards. Again, it's very personal experience, so I can't really say for you. Overall, I find it very sustainable to be F2P and I have a very decent experience in the past year. Currently, I have 20,000 diamonds right now. This comment says it's not really possible to finish 36 stars as a free-to-play. The only thing a free-to-play can do, as you know, is to stick to one ally and skip banners, which again makes it difficult to farm diamonds, unfortunately. It's like a cruel cycle. I main one guy only, Aurum Pass and Promise, plus the cheaper packs, and R1 is the maximum I can do with the most cards, and I can't even 36 stars most of the times as a Caleb main. I think I spent about an extra 40 bucks when Caleb's myth dropped as an Aurum/Promise spender to get him to R2. I don't like it either at all, but I don't see them changing this. I would be curious to see some statistics about how many F2P, how many people regularly buy Aurum Pass, how many whales, etc, etc. 140 pulls is guaranteed, it's not fake information, but that's only if you haven't lowered your pity in a previous banner. If you had say 30 pulls left until the next guaranteed 5-star and you don't pull anymore on the current banner, then you will get the card you want from the next banner in maximum 100 pulls because you'll get whichever 5-star in 30 pulls. It could either be the one you want to, or if not, then you'll definitely get the wished or limited 5-star in the next 70 pulls maximum. And to this particular post, someone responded saying it is absolutely possible to 36-star Senior Hunter contest as a free-to-play. I 100% stand by this. Duchess Arya has made a ton of guides on how to do it and clears it every reset with her fully free-to-play account. You do need to pull for myths in order to clear, but if you're someone who wants the myths anyway like me, that isn't a problem. And so there you have it, my fellow flowers of Linkon. Now, my personal diamond saving tips, if you were curious, I do have a Love and Deepspace guides playlist, which I have linked in my description box below. And I have a video on how to save diamonds and never be broke in Love and Deepspace. So that pretty much breaks down what I do on a day-to-day basis. I literally do all of those things that I mentioned on my video. So that has helped me a ton. I started playing, for context, I started playing Love and Deepspace in the middle of August of 2024, last year during the middle of Misty Invasion. So in my 1 year and 3 months of playing on my main account, I was able to pretty much get every card that I possibly could have wanted from Silas, Zane and Caleb mainly. I even got a few limited cards from Xavier and Raphael as well. And I'm mainly like an Aurum Pass only player, and I used to buy the cheapest event shop packs 1 and 2 whenever there is a banner. There's always like super cheap packs, right? Packs 1 and 2. I used to buy that. The last time I bought that was in May, by the way, May this year. And I have gone free to play, I think 4 or 5 months in my 1 year of 3 months of playing. I have gone free to play for 4 to 5 months because I never felt like I personally needed to get an Aurum Pass during those months, because I was able to farm and grind diamonds by myself throughout the various avenues of the game. Between investing time and money, I would personally obviously love to invest only my time rather than money, but I do understand, obviously it's a game, it has to make money, yada yada yada. I understand. I have been playing gacha games for over 10-11 years now, okay, but this is the first particular gacha game that I am emotionally invested in, which I haven't really been for other games. So I have been fully free to play in all my other gacha games in the past. But anyways, and in terms of the secret promise or heartfelt vow, I have purchased 3 heartfelt vows only since the time I started playing, and that's it. After that, I just felt like I wasn't really getting, I don't know, I just lost the value of it personally for me. Like, yes, the additional 12 gold deep space wish tickets and all the other bunch of bonus resources and rewards and everything would obviously help if you're trying to do that, but for me personally, I just don't feel like getting that anymore, and I feel like I'm doing just fine. So because I joined the game on 15th of August 2024 last year, I obviously missed the first 7 months of in-game content. So what did I do? I did something that most of you darling flowers might have already done if you are fully invested into the lore and story of all the guys. Like, I am somebody, yes, I do have my favorite guys in the game, but I am still very curious to read the lore and the stories and cards of all the 5 guys, because truly and genuinely I have something to love about all the 5 guys, because all of them fulfill something different for me personally. Right? So I watched all of the missed memoria, the event stories, everything that I missed in those 7 months when it was just the original 3 guys, the OG 3, Xavier, Zane and Raphael. I watched all their stuff online through various channels. There's Lavender, there's Sorai, there's Valeska. There are so many channels out there that can upload the stuff. So that is how I coped with my FOMO during the first 7 months, and I'm fine with that. It's important to note that I never pulled on a single rerun until now. Like, I have skipped all reruns. I have skipped all solo cards except, like, with the exception of birthdays, right? I have pulled on multis and myths here and there. And another very important thing is, for me to combat my FOMO, in June and in August this year, I made 2 additional accounts, 2 alt accounts that are fully 100% free to play to help combat my FOMO. Not only to combat my FOMO, but to also help me really understand what it is like. Like, I'm curious to know, if I'm 100% free to play from the start until the end, how far can I actually get in something like the Senior Hunter contest and just various other avenues in the game when I'm focusing on one love interest. Like, for example, the second alt account is a 100% free to play for fun style that is emulating a Zane main account. So obviously I don't think I'm able to pull for every single Zane card, and I did skip quite a few banners there as well, becoming a serial banner skipper and a big diamond hoarder, and actually watching the cards. Like, if I'm somebody that is going to be skeptical about certain cards before I actually pull them, what I'll do is I will go on YouTube and I will watch the card and I will spoil it for myself, because I want to know if it's actually worth pulling. For me personally, it doesn't ruin my experience or immersion at all, because I get a chance to see what I'm actually pulling for, and I am somebody that rereads the cards multiple times. Like, I read cards 2, 4, 5, 6 times because I love to reread stories. So I'm someone who finds a lot of worth in rereading, right? So for me, that's a great way to help combat my FOMO personally. And I have a third alt account, which currently it started out as a Xavier main, and then I pulled on most of the cards, or 4 out of 5 cards from the Idol banner, and I got even Xavier's birthday card there at R1, like in the free pulls, and I've had a lot of luck. Like, on the Zane account, I managed to get R1 Zane's God of Annihilation in literally 150 pulls. So insane luck can happen. You just don't expect it. The important thing is not to expect it. The important thing is to make sure that you have enough diamonds saved up before you actually go into pulling on a banner, or read the stories online if you would like to actually find out what exactly are you getting yourself into before you actually invest your hard-earned resources. That is what I like to do personally. So now my burning question to you darling flowers of Linkon is, are you a free-to-play player? Do you have multiple free-to-play accounts, or do you have a second, third alt free-to-play account? Please let me know what has your experience been so far. How many limited 5 stars have you collected? Did it always take you to hard pity, or did you get lucky and get some cards early? What are your diamond savings looking like right now? I would love to read all about it, and I will get back to you as soon as I can. Until the next one, my darling flowers. Bye bye.